children. Children, from 4th of August, you are having your second periodic exam. So, your portions will be chapter 11 and 12. Children, one thing more I also want to tell you that yesterday most of you have not done your maths skill properly. Like Arpan has done very nicely, but some of you have not done well. Many of you have done what? That you have downloaded the map and you have just located the places over there. You are not going to do that. Second thing, most of you have done in political map, which you should not do. You should do it in physical map, that is outline map of India. So now let's come to the chapter. Yesterday we discussed the introduction part of Mauryan dynasty, where we came across Chanakya, Alexander, and also some sources of information. Today we will read about the different rulers of Mughal Empire. Now this Mauryan was not known as dynasty, it was known as empire, Vishal Samrajya. Empire is the bigger form, of kingdom. So we will come across the important rulers. This chapter is also very important for you. So the first ruler was Mauryan ruler was Chandragupta, who established such a great empire. And you can see here on the map, he extended the empire from north to south and east to west. You can see here the map in this page, which I can show you in 130 page, 110. This is page number 110. In this map here it is shown some of the rock edicts, where it has been located, the rock edicts which I discussed yesterday, the source, one of the sources of information. That we also came across the pillars. You will see here where it is located, these pillars, and also the boundaries of Mauryan Empire. Boundaries of Mauryan Empire. So here in south it was extended up to here. If we talk about north, it was extended up to here, and this is your east directions, and also some west directions were there here. So this is the boundary of your Mauryan Empire, including Afghanistan and Balochistan, which is now not in India. Just remember it. These are the included now in Pakistan. Chandragupta established his capital at Patliputra. Where is this Patliputra? Let me show you this. Here. Chanakya was Chandragupta's guru as well as his prime minister. Yes, he was not only his guru but also he was his prime minister. That means he used to look after the entire kingdom, and whatever suggestions Chandragupta Maurya needed, it was been given by Chanakya. Chanakya wrote Arthashastra, which is very important for you. You will get a question: who wrote Arthashastra? It is a famous book on political administration. Bindusar succeeded Chandragupta in 297 and ruled up to 272 BC. He was also a very brave king. So Bindusar succeeded Chandragupta. Means after Chandragupta, which ruler became the king? Bindusar. Don't get confused with Bindusar and Bindusar. Okay. He protected the empire and developed good relations with the Greek, and he died in 272 BC. Yes, when Alexander was there was a very good relations with the Greece. So with the Greece, the country Greece, and the people who lived there were Greeks. So we had a very good relations with the. After Bindusar, it was succeeded by Ashoka, and Ashoka occupies a very important place, in Indian history. Okay. So, who was his father? Bindusar was his father. He was crowned in 269 BC. He is considered one of the greatest rulers in the world history. Yes, this is also very important. He does not occupy only important position in Indian history, but also in world history. He conquered the state of Kalinga, modern Odisha. You will also get this name. What is the present name of Kalinga? Modern Odisha. Earlier it was known as Kalinga. If you go to Odisha, you will see there that a very open place there where a bloody war took place to complete his rule over almost the whole of India. Battle of Kalinga was a very fierce battle. What is this fierce battle? Means it was a very, you can say, a battle which took lots of lives of children, women, men. It was a very, you can say, a very such type of battle which just, it was a very dangerous one, bhayanak, fierce. There was a huge loss of life and property, the horror of war, and the crew of widows. Crew means the people cried a lot, and children deeply moved Ashoka. Means the horror of war. After the war, it was such a, you can say, a painful scene for Ashoka, where the crews of widows and children just turned the life of Ashoka. And at that very moment, Ashoka decided that he is not going to resort any war in future. He is not going to fight any war in future. The Kalinga War proved to be the turning point in Ashoka's life. Yes. Why it was a turning point? Why it was a turning point in Ashoka's life after this Kalinga War? You will get a question like this, that why Kalinga War was to be a turning point in Ashoka's life. It was a turning point in Ashoka's life because it was a huge loss of life and property, and the crew of widows and the cries of the widows and children really turned Ashoka's life, and after that he decided not to resort, not to do any war in future. That's why it was a turning point in Ashoka's life. He adopted Buddhism after the Kalinga War. Yes, after this Kalinga War, what did he adopted? He adopted Buddhism. Now, what sort of Buddhism he adopted? Let me explain you this. And spent the rest of his life in propagating and preaching it. Means, after that Kalinga War, he decided not to do any war in future, and that's why this was also one of the reasons behind the downfall of Mughal Empire. Mauryan Empire. And after this Kalinga war, he adopted Buddhism and he spent his whole life in preaching this Buddhism to the people, in asking the people to follow Buddhism. Not only in India but also in different parts of the world, Sri Lanka, China, Southeast Asian countries. He, Ashoka, along with his son and his grandson, along with his son and his daughter Sangamitra, propagated Buddhism not only in India but also in the other countries of the world like Sri Lanka, Southeast Asia, China. Even he advised his sons and grandson, means he advised his coming generation not to conquer new countries. That means not to wage war in future, means not to involve in war. And that's why he asked his sons and grandsons to go for Dharma Vijay. Dharma Vijay. Vijay means winning. Dharma means following the path of Buddhism and winning the hearts of people. Dharma Vijay. So what is the meaning of Dharma Vijay? Winning the hearts of people. This also is very important for you. Okay. So after Kalinga war, what he decided? That he is not going to resort any war, wage any war in future, and he will follow Buddhism. And he also asked sons and grandson not to conquer new countries and go for Dharma Vijay, that is winning the hearts of people. So this was the main teaching of Ashoka after the Kalinga war. Let me write here so that you can understand. After the Kalinga war, what he decided? He decided not to conquer new countries and go for Dharma Vijay. Even he asked his sons and grandson to adopt this path. And what did he do? He spent his life in propagating and preaching Buddhism. This was the turning point after the Kalinga war. So children, please go through the video. Up to here I have taught you in this video. Please go through the video carefully, and children, please start preparing your chapter 11 and 12 for your second periodic test. And before your periodic test, I will take a meeting and do the revision of these two chapters. So children, please go through the video very carefully. Today you don't have any homework in this video. Just go through the video, and whatever important points I have indicated, just learn it. Okay. Thank you children.